Hi, welcome to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. I am filming this on the 2nd of August. I thought this month I am getting in early and I am not leaving it till the end of the month. And we are going through my July wrap up. I did manage to complete the books I was reading right on the last day of July, so it worked out perfectly. And I had a really good reading month this month. I managed to read 13 books. It is insane. So many so that I may have accidentally dropped them while I was trying to get the thumbnail for this video. Hopefully they're not irreparably damaged. Of course, the one that I want to unhaul and possibly sell did get a little bit dented, which is extremely annoying. I have to find another way to make thumbnails when there is a lot of books. Let's go through it. I have my notes. I think I will change the way that I am doing these. I think I've tried it previously, but I'm going to attempt it again in August, where I film my thoughts after I finish each book, just a little quick rundown, and then I'll mash it all together and try and be succinct depending on the amount of books that I'm reading. Just because by the time I get to the end, especially when I've read this many books, I've forgotten a lot of my thoughts throughout the whole process. Some of them, obviously, these came up in vlogs, which you can see, and I will tell you which ones, and they will be linked down below. So for Reach the Castle, we had 6 rolls and no prompt cards again. And I think this is starting to become a running theme, which I'm really disappointed about because I do love Murphy's prompt cards. And there are so many that we haven't even seen yet. I don't put old prompt cards that we've already pulled back in the game because I want to try and go through all of them if we can before we do any of the prompts that I've made up. So I would love a prompt card. Please give me a prompt card. Anyway, of these, I read 2, I DNF'd 1, and the other 3 have been added back into my game and onto the troll spinner wheel if we land on the troll next time. They will hopefully come up again soon. Of the ones that I didn't read, we have A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is probably one that I am super intimidated by, and I may have just purposely put it off again. This was from The Bows and Arrows, from a book that I added in 2012. So like I said, we'll be going back into that tub as well as on the spinner wheel. Next up, we had Dead Man Rising by Lilith St. Croix. This is book 2 in the Dante Valentine series. I just couldn't get my hands on this other than purchasing it, and I didn't have any spare money this month to do that for a book that the first one was just okay. So I'm not opposed to doing that in the future, just not this month. And then last but not least, we had Court of Winter by Krista Street. I am looking forward to giving this one a go. I do have it on Kindle Unlimited. I got a 3-month trial again, so hopefully I can get to it before that 3-month trial runs out. But either way, it will be added back in, and if I can't, hopefully I will be able to add it in again when it next comes up. I'm sure I'll be able to get my hands on it. Okay, let's talk about our DNF. I did attempt to try A Breaking of Realms by Jasmine Young. I did mention this one in my finishing off Hercad video. I was going to use this for my award prompt. Didn't mesh well with it. You can find out more details in that video, but I ended up DNFing it at about 43%. So I won't be going back to that series, and I have now removed all of the rest of the series from my want to read list. That was that one. Of the other 2 DNFs that I had this month, I will talk to you about one of them now, and the other one I'll mention at the end. The one I was really disappointed about, one that I am now planning on selling, was Furybound by Sable Sorensen. I picked this book up in England while I was there earlier in the year, and got the Waterstones exclusive edition. It was a story. It has come up in my haul video. I got to page 204 of this. I was physically reading this one because I had had such a reaction to the audio version of the first one when I was reading it. Not that it was bad, I just really detested listening to one of the characters, and I just couldn't deal, in the point that I would skip their scenes a lot of the time. this one, I thought if I read it, maybe it won't be so bad. They're not meant to be in this story as much as far as I knew at the time. And they weren't in it as much as I was thinking they were going to be, which was great. But they were still there. They were still really giving me the ick. Every time the use of pet names came up, it was just really getting to me. And I got to this point, we're about to have a scene between our main character, Merrin, and Killian, who is the prince. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't continue on. I was just like, I have no interest in picking this up and reading it. I was just not enjoying myself. And I thought as well, I didn't overly enjoy the chapters we were getting from Stark's POV either. It felt like they were just sex orientated, and it was just how much he was trying not to fall for her, wanting to be with her. And it was just annoying. And I'm just like, I just want plot. I just want to know what's going on with the wolves. I wasn't liking that relationship much either. Yeah, I'm just really disappointed. I thought that this one was going to really work for me. I was hoping we were getting more of the wolf dynamic, and we did get a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping in the bit that I read. And it just felt really slow. Like in those 204 pages, barely anything happened. And I just was like, I'm not enjoying this. I gave Direbound, I think, a 3.5 stars, and I was hoping this one would improve on that, and it just didn't. So I will unhaul both of these. This one is just a regular edition. I got the blue naked hardcover of this one, so I will again try and hopefully sell those on. I don't think, even though I dropped Furybound, it doesn't look too bad. There's a slight little dent on the jacket cover now, but other than that, I think the hardback isn't in too bad condition. They will be leaving my library and hopefully going to a better home with someone that will really enjoy the story. They have come off my series list as well, and I will not be picking up Ruinbound when it comes out next year. So devastated, but it is what it is. There are a lot more books out there that I'm hoping I will enjoy even more. First book I finished in July was technically the first day of July, and that was Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent. I had, I think, about 127 pages left of this to go on the first day of the month. I was reading this one again for my Hercad wrap-up, so you will see more of my thoughts in this one, but overall I didn't have a hugely bad time with it. I did give this one 3.5 stars. I will be continuing on, and this one will be staying on my shelf. I do have a deluxe edition of it. I am intrigued to see where it ends and what is going to happen to Tisana, and yeah, just how the whole thing's going to wrap up. So hopefully I can get to that one soon. I do need to use it for Hercad 3.0, so that's good. Well, I want to anyway. And yeah, so more of my thoughts, go check out my Hercad finish off video for 2.0. Next up, I did the audio for this one, and I read The Obsession by Nora Roberts. I was really happy that I actually enjoyed my time with this one, because I was beginning to worry that Nora Roberts was no longer for me, that I had read all the ones that I was going to actually enjoy and needed to probably give her up as an author. Considering the last few I've tried, I've DNF'd fairly quickly. But I did enjoy this one. This one's set in a small town. We are following Naomi and Xander. Naomi moves to this town after buying a house and wanting to do it up. And she meets Xander when her car breaks down on the side of the road. And Naomi's a photographer, and Xander runs a mechanic shop in the little town that she has moved to. I did enjoy their interactions. This is very written to a formula, but I find that kind of comforting in this setting. Like, we have a suspense. We tend to have different jobs that the characters are going through. So I learn a little bit more about the jobs that they are doing that I didn't know before. So, and that is one thing that I have found that I enjoy with these kind of romantic suspense ones. I was also extremely impressed with myself that I did figure out who the culprit was before the characters. I was happy with that. Probably not as fast as a lot of other people could have, but mystery thrillers and that kind of thing, romantic suspenses, they're not generally my go-to book, and I don't know that I really see a lot of the foreshadowing a lot of the time. So I was happy I figured it out. I just think I was pretty impressed with myself. Anyway, overall, I gave this one 3.5 stars. I love the dog in this, and I do really like just the bits about the house where she's designing it and setting it up and talking about what she wants to do. And I can just imagining this place that I just would really love to visit. It just sounded really pretty. The audio was really good. I recommend giving this one a go. Next up, I finally have started this series. I'm so happy that I have stopped procrastinating about it and just given it a go. And that was Blood and Steel by Helen Schurer. So this is book 1 in the Legends of Thesma series. This is my 3rd series by Helen Schurer now. I have read The Siren Queens and the... I'm spacing on her other series, but it's her other teen series. And I really enjoyed both of those. The Siren Queens, I think, is still my favorite. This one, though, I did enjoy. I do think I would have enjoyed it a little bit better if it wasn't straight off with the spicy in this. And I have heard that it gets more spicy as we go on. But I did enjoy interactions with Thea and Wilder, and knowing that the next series in this one is her sister's point of view as well was interesting. So I think I'm going into this slightly different than a lot of other people would if they were reading this before they knew that the Ashes of Thesma series was coming up, because I know a lot of people don't like her sister. And I am spacing on her sister's name as well. Ren. Knowing that the next series is about her sister Ren, I actually can look for foreshadowing and that kind of stuff. And knowing that not a lot of people liked Ren as a character much in this series, but I kind of agreed with a lot of what Ren was saying to Thea. And Thea, I did find slightly annoying in this, that I was like, well, I kind of actually agree with your sister. There was some bits at the end where I was like, well, okay, maybe that was a little too far, but overall, it was a good time. I did enjoy it. I am still really nervous about going into book 2, but hopefully I will get over myself and it will be fine. This one I have given 4 stars, and just I really do enjoy Helen's writing style and worlds, and so just really interested to see what we're going to get happen next. I love the little nods to her other series that I don't know if anyone else picked up, but me now having... Sorry, the cats are right by the bottom of the camera stand. The little nods to the other series I think are just really funky, and I love like just trying to find those. I wasn't overly sold on Thea and Wilder's relationship. She's straight away just going, oh my God, how hot is he? And I get you kind of would do that, but I also thought she was going on and on about wanting to be seen as a woman, but kind of thinking like a teenager at the same time. I did like her 2 friends, Cal and Kip. I'm hoping that they come up a bit in the next one as well. And I liked their kind of group dynamic that they had going on. Like I said, Ren, I don't mind her at the moment. She is a decent character who seems fairly sensible, and I quite like the alchemy side of her personality. Some of the things that she did were slightly questionable, but overall I think I preferred her to Thea, which might bode well for the next series, but we will see what happens in the continuation of this one. The one thing that I'm not overly looking forward to though with that one is the age gap between Torge and Ren. That seems to be excessive, and I think even though we know that Wilder is the youngest of the 3 Legends of Thesma that are left, I still find a huge age gap kind of weird myself, but that is just a me thing. Maybe in my head people are just older and younger than they are, but who knows. I am really looking forward to giving it a go and hopefully enjoying the next one as well. Hello. Here's Miguel. Okay, so let's get into our next book, and this one was not for me. So I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is the first Ali Hazelwood that I have given a go, and it probably wasn't the best one to start on. I, in the end, read this physically, and I gave this one 2 stars. I just could not get behind it. One, her name, Misery, what is with that? I didn't like that at all. And then I wasn't sold on the relationship between Misery and Lo. There was something about the mix of vampire and werewolf that I just wasn't getting behind. And I don't know what it was. I think as well, I don't overly love wolves in the sense of all the smelling and scent and the mate thing. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it much. I didn't like that Misery seemed fairly dumb with what was going on with the world. She didn't know a huge amount about humans. She didn't know a lot about wolves. She didn't know a lot about the vampires. She was given as a bargaining tool to stop a war when she was really young. So she pretty much is just obsessed with her best friend and finding her best friend. But in saying that, where she wasn't dumb, she just came out with all these weird sciencey things, which I think is Ali Hazelwood's kind of niche. She does all the STEM romances, but it didn't seem like that should be something that this character should know. So I didn't overly love that. Like I said, I wasn't sold on their relationship and just wasn't feeling it. I would still like to try another Ali Hazelwood to see if I can figure out what all the fuss is about. Maybe one of her actual STEM romances, but I won't be continuing on and reading Mate, and this just was not for me. Next up, I picked up To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. I was really looking forward to giving this one a go. I love this edition that I got from Fairy Loot, and I was just really hoping that I was going to enjoy this one. In the end, I did this one on audio, and I did actually enjoy the audio version. I thought that the narrator did a really good job. Character-wise, we are following Raven, who enters a prison to attempt to save her brother Jed, who has been caught. We're in a dystopian world, and there she comes across a guard called Vale, who she has met the previous night, pretty much. So they have a little bit of history. They nearly got caught by the overall guard when she was making out with him. So I did quite enjoy Raven and Vale's interactions and relationship build up. I did find the overprotectiveness of Raven to her younger brother a little grating at time, and I did like though that Jed calls her out on it. He is technically an adult now. He has the ability to make his own decisions, but because she has been looking after him for so long, she's still got that thing where she can't tell him the truth, needs to protect him, and I just like, come on, let it go a bit now. So I did like that Jed called her out on it and that she did relent in the end a little bit, which was good. I thought that this was a really well put together dystopian world. I was intrigued. I ate this up. I read this so fast. I was just gripped and engaged the whole time. There was a pet name of Little Bird used, and it wasn't annoying me too much at the beginning, but by the end I was like, okay, just drop it now. It doesn't need to be what you call her every time. That probably brought my overall rating down slightly. I am super intrigued to continue on when the next book comes out. I had, like I said, really good time, ate it up. The audio was really good, so I would recommend giving that a go. And overall, I gave this one 4 stars. Love that I get to keep this edition on my shelf. I then moved on to my Adventures in Audio prompt, which was to read a 5-star prediction. And for this one, I had picked A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. So this is book number 2 in the Embers in the Ashes series, and I love the Embers in the Ashes. I gave that one 5 stars. So I had really high hopes that this one would continue on. We are following Leia. Even though I read the audio, I still cannot remember how they pronounced her name, and Elias. And it pretty much starts where that one left off. We have no gap, no time span has moved forward. This one had a lot more traveling in it than I would have liked. And it wasn't until we got to our next main setting, which was a prison, that I thought it improved slightly once we got there and it was more entertaining and interesting. I was shocked by some of the reveals that we got at the end of the book, and I did still enjoy it overall. I just wasn't loving it as much as book 1. So I did end up giving this one 4 stars. I will be continuing on. I am looking forward to seeing what happens in the next one and just where we go with how this one finished. Hopefully it won't be too long until I get to that. If the camera moves, Raven is at the bottom of it, so sorry about that. And hopefully it won't be too long. I would like to prioritize the next one just so we can keep the gap between books short so I can remember what is happening. But I'm really enjoying my time in this series and looking forward to continuing. I picked up my buzzword title prompt book, which was to read a book with an occupation in the title, and I picked A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. This one I read physically. It was cozy, I will give it that. I did not enjoy it, but I didn't overly love it either. I don't know that this one is overly well written. I found it a bit choppy and disjointed at the beginning. I didn't love the writing style at all through the whole thing. I found the character, our main character, Alida, really frustrating. She has had a hard life. I will give her that. Her parents have died. She's struggling to survive on her own and hopefully realize her dream of becoming a baker. When her two kind of foster father or neighbors enter her into a baking competition that she doesn't think she has any chance of winning because she is a human without any magic. And that tagline, a human with no magic, just comes up so often throughout the whole story that I was just like, we know, I don't care, get over it. She had a lot of internal dialogue that she needed to deal with and a lot of really degrading, debasive dialogue that she needed to get rid of. She was her own worst enemy. What she was telling herself wasn't true, and she was just really struggling to believe in herself at all. And I found that really frustrating. There may be some people that would have related a lot better to her as a character. I just wasn't one of them. I also didn't overly see the connection between her and the male main character, Theo. That seemed very quick. I don't feel like there was enough page time really for that. I used this one in the end for Heckhead as well, so that was really handy. And it is a cozy read. There is a series of these books that J. Penner has brought out, and I won't be continuing on with this series. I just didn't enjoy it, and there are some real cozy fantasies that I love a lot more, so like Sarah Beth Durst, or even the one I picked up now I am enjoying a lot more. So just not for me, unfortunately. In the end, I gave this one 2.5 stars. I don't know that if anyone asked me for a cozy fantasy recommendation, I would recommend this one. I got through it. It wasn't overly hard to read, but I did feel like it took me longer than it should have. Then getting towards the end of the month, and I had, I think, about a week, and I needed an audio. So I just thought, what can I listen to that would help my challenges but be a really quick, easy read? So I ended up picking Because of Miss Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. So this is the first in the Roxby Quartet, which is the prequel Bridgerton series. There's a mouthful for you. In this one, we are following Billy and George. So Billy is a Bridgerton and George is the oldest of the Roxby clan. And the Roxbys seem to have, I think it is 4 men and 1 female in their family. And we are focusing more on the Roxbys in this one, even though that the first book is from Billy's point of view more. I think the series in itself is just going to be following the Roxby family. They are very close friends. They live next to each other in Kent, and Billy is the oldest daughter. She is pretty much a tomboy. She has grown up wanting to stay at home, be a farmer. She's not interested in being all girly, learning how to sew, all that kind of stuff. She wants to be out learning about the farm, and she does have a younger brother who is not old enough to help take on any of the farm and or property that they have. So Billy has decided that it's her job to do that. She, in one of the first scenes, gets caught up in a tree trying to rescue a cat, and then hurts her ankle when she falls out of said tree and needs help to be rescued. And George is obviously her rescuer. I did enjoy it. I did like the interactions. This is an easy audio. It wasn't very long. It was done really well. I do enjoy Julia Quinn. It is very Bridgerton-esque. Just go into it looking for a good time, an easy read, and you'll have a great time. I think the Roxbys will be a fairly interesting family to follow as we go through, And I did really like George and Billy's interactions and their banter with each other. Overall, I gave this one 4 stars. I did enjoy it, not as much as Bridgerton, but it was just a good, easy time. I then moved straight into book number 2, which was The Girl with a Make-Believe Husband, again by Julia Quinn. This one I needed for my buzzword for May. I had planned on reading both of these while I was overseas, but I definitely think I did the right thing by picking these up with audio. The audios were great. They're easy to put on and listen to and get some other stuff done without being forced to sit down and physically hold them in your hands. This one we're following Cecilia and the second of the Roxby children, Edward. So Edward is currently in the army in the middle of the war between England and America. So we move settings in this one, and Cecilia has traveled to New York to hopefully find and help her brother who has been injured. When she gets there though, her brother, he's not there. She can't find, hide nor hear of him, and she comes across Edward Roxby, who is in the infirmary in New York. He is unconscious, and she knows him from correspondence between her and her brother. And so she nurses him back to health pretty much. And to be able to do this, she tells everyone there that he is her husband, because she realizes that she can get more information on her brother if they think she is Roxby's wife. When Roxby does end up waking up, he has no memory. So the charade of her being his wife continues. And that obviously does have some consequences considering when we are set. This one I didn't overly love as much. And I think it was the fake marriage and her not being honest with him that I have an issue with that kind of thing and the secrets, and I just don't love it. And I know that the shit's gonna hit the fan and it's gonna be a big deal, and if they'd just been honest at the beginning, we probably wouldn't have a story. But it would, like, there's something about it I just can't get behind. I also didn't love the New York setting in this one. I think I much prefer my Regency romancy kind of books to actually be set in England like Bridgerton was, and like the first one in this one. And I just find I'm more interested in society than there. So not my favorite, and I don't think it's going to be my favorite. I also didn't really love Edward as a character as much. I enjoyed George and Billy's relationship a lot more in the first book than Cecilia and Edward's. Overall, I gave this one 3.5 stars, but it won't necessarily be one that I would come back and listen to, or I could probably see myself reading the first one, but I'd probably skip this one. But I finished it off. I am looking forward to reading the next couple in this series, and I have now obviously completed my May prompt for the Buzzword Title Challenge, which was what I was hoping to get done. Then moved on to my last read of the month, which was Chloe's pick, which was Enola Holmes, The Case of the Missing Marquess. So depending on the version of this book, sometimes it's like written just as the title is The Case of the Missing Marquess and Enola Holmes is just the series. But I am planning on using this for Hercad, and I think with the way that this one is written on the title, on the cover, and even in the middle, there's no like serious thing. I'm gonna say that whole thing is the title, so that I could then use it for my title prompts for Hercad 3.0. There is also another prompt where I need to read a book with a name in the title, so that's going to be for that one as well. Overall, I didn't really enjoy this very much. Considering that this is a children's book, I think that the writing style doesn't work. There were bits where I was really confused as to what was going on, and I have read a fair few books set back in history, and I just think that they have done it better. I thought that this one was fairly confusing. It was a bit jumpy and stilted. I didn't overly love the way Enola narrates the story. We're following her as she is attempting to locate her missing mother, who has disappeared on her birthday. Her older brothers, Sherlock and Mycroft, come and see her after she sends them a telegram to let them know that their mother is missing. And it turns out that their mother has been lying to them and kind of leading them to believe that they have a very different lifestyle than what they actually have, so that she can get money from Mycroft. Enola is very sheltered, very young. She hasn't had much schooling. But her mother has left her behind clues as to what is going on. And in the end, Enola runs away, and in the process of trying to make her way to London, comes across the case of a Marquess who has gone missing. Hence the case of the missing Marquess. Although that doesn't happen till like halfway through the book. So there wasn't a huge amount of that, though at the end, that is the majority of that story. I didn't see the interaction between Enola and Qwordy to be overly interesting. As a character, I don't know that she is overly well written and that this book is overly well written. Chloe, my niece, my 10-year-old niece, is really enjoying them. So maybe it's just an age thing, that if I had read these earlier when I was a kid, I would have liked them better. I don't know. I do really enjoy the Netflix adaptations, and I think they're fun and quirky and a good time. I would probably stick with them. But my niece really wants me to read these. So I will continue on in this series. Overall, I'm going to give this one 2.5 stars, but definitely wasn't a fave. We then move in to my library vlog, which you will have already seen, and I will link it down below if you haven't. For that vlog, we pulled 5 books. And so because I have gone through my thoughts in-depthly with those, I'm just going to run through my star rating and what I ended up doing with them. So the first one was Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. In the end, I DNF'd this one at page 35. I will not be continuing on with this series, and slightly disappointed by that fact. We then had what was probably my favourite book of the month, and that was Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ereru. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this one. I ate it up. I gave this one 5 stars. I listened to the audio, highly recommend the audio. I am on to the next book already, so if you haven't picked this one up, highly recommend. I then moved on to The Witch Collector by Carissa Weeks. This one was fairly even mediocre read for me. I again listened to the audio. I gave this one 3 stars, fairly middle of the road. I won't be continuing on in this series. I then listened to Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World. This is my first Abby Jimenez. I did enjoy my time with this one. Overall, I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was a good time. I will continue on in this series. I then picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This was also my book club book for my In Real Life book club, The Book Hose. I got to about 2 hours into the audio and I couldn't do it anymore, so I have DNF this one. I really don't think V. Schwab is an author for me. It will be interesting to see what my friends thought of this when we get together this month. So no more V. Schwab will be going on my TBR in the future, I don't think. They were all the books that I ended up getting to. It turns out I think I had more DNFs than I said at the beginning. So we had 3 or 4 maybe. Let's go. Yeah, maybe 4. I can't even count now, and I have literally just done this whole video. Anyway, let's go through some stats now. I obviously read 13 books this month. That has worked out to 1,705 pages, or I listened to 7,343 minutes, or if you'd prefer, 122 hours and 23 minutes in total over this month. And I think that that is awesome. I'm really happy with how that has turned out. Of those, I read 9 via audio and 4 physically, with a total stars of 1 5-star, 1 4.5 star, 3 4 stars, 4 3.5 stars, 1 3-star, 2 2.5 stars, and 1 2 stars. And that gives us an average overall star rating of 3.5, which is down from last month, but still I think a really good month considering how many I read. I'm happy with the 3.5. I had some really good ones, I had some not great ones, but overall I just really enjoyed my reading month. Cross stitch, I have no cross stitch updates this month. I am literally going to my friend's house this afternoon for Stitch and Bitch group, which I am looking forward to because it has been too long since I have picked up my cross stitch. So hopefully I will be rectifying that situation fairly soon. I also have come up with a way to get a little bit more done. So look forward to seeing that in the future. Hopefully your reads have been great. I would love to know which of the ones that I have read were your favorites. Which ones did you not like? Did you DNF any of the same ones that I have? Leave me all your comments below. Hopefully your month has been great and your August is looking exceptional with whatever you have coming up. I hope that wherever you are having a really wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.